Boy, we got quite a coach interview today. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the 5-0, A&M Commerce Lions, the number 4 team in the AFCA Division II coaches poll, is Coach Colby Carthel. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, you keep winning like this, we're not going to have any choice but to have you on. I mean, you guys are right now the hottest team in Texas, 5-0 for the first time since 1980. And the last time, Commerce fans will remember, the last time you guys were 5-0, you guys went to an NAIA state semifinal. So far, what is it that's been clicking this year?
Well, just got a bunch of good kids that are playing hard, and they're taking coaching, and I don't think it's much that we're doing. It's what they're doing on Saturdays, and been fortunate to come out ahead on the first 5, and got a fun one this week with Midwestern State on the national stage and ESPN, so hopefully we can pick up one more.
You mentioned that you guys are on the national stage. You guys, this game's going to be live on ESPN3. It's the Division II national game of the weekend, and for good reason. This is the number 4 team, Commerce, going up against the number 7 team, Midwestern State. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. Is there any sort of difference between preparing your kids for that big stage? Because a lot of your games are not nationally televised. Here you guys get the big spotlight. What's your message to your kids going into this game?
You're exactly right. This past week we played at No Man's Land Stadium up in Goodwill, Oklahoma, in front of about 250 people. So you go from that to ESPN. It's quite a change. But that's what we told the kids. You can't control the environment. You can't control the event. All you can do is control how you prepare, how you practice, and how you play. And we expect, the standard to be the same, whether you're playing up in Goodwill, Oklahoma, or you're playing on ESPN. We want to go out and produce at a high level and take care of business the line way.
And, of course, you guys are back-to-back Lone Star Conference champions. You guys have really owned this conference, and that's saying something, considering I think this is one of the deepest, most impressive conferences in Division II. I just imagine that for you, priority 1 is let's win this conference championship, and then we'll take care of the rest when the playoffs roll around.
No doubt. That's always been the goal since we got here and took over in 2013. And, we were fortunate to have a winning season that year and get the tide turned here at A&M Commerce, and then won the league in 2014 and went undefeated in 2015 and took that next step, made the NCAA playoffs. But, our first goal, first and foremost this year, is to win the conference again. And then, you do that, you're going to be in the NCAA playoffs, and we'll see if we can, take another step and win a playoff game or two and try to take this thing to the top.
And, of course, the key for you guys so far has been offensively. And your offense is one of the most dangerous in the nation. You're averaging more than 40 points a game, nearly 500 yards of offense. What is the key for you? Where does it all start? You've got a number of skill position guys, but for you, offensively, what's been the key to your success so far?
I think the key to our success has always been recruiting. And, it's not so much about the X's and O's as is the Johnny and Joes, and we've got some really good Johnny and Joes right now. But they do a great job. We put a big emphasis on offensive line play, and our offensive lines have continually improved. And then taking care of the football, being efficient in the red zone. Those are kind of staples of our program. And Coach Storm and offensive staff have done a great job, and we've always had some good production there. So we're very balanced. We've got an All-American tailback, and we've got an All-American receiver, and we got what I consider one of the best quarterbacks in the region. So, teams will try to take away the run. You beat them over the top and vice versa. So I think we're a tough team to defend, and a lot of that has to do with those 11 guys out there on the field.
We're talking with Coach Colby Carthel of the A&M Commerce Lions here on DCTF Live in conjunction with Atavis Rugby Tackling. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. And Coach, you mentioned recruiting, and that's obviously become the key talking point for any coach at any level of college. What's your philosophy as far as recruiting is concerned? I don't think it's really going to be any secret that the 5-star kids may not be coming to Commerce, but what are you looking for in a recruit?
We're looking for somebody that's going to last. College football, it's such a revolving door at the Division II level. So we're trying to find those good kids that, their coaches stand on the table for them. They're going to stick with the program. And because those guys who stick around, will have a chance to win a bunch of ball games and championships. But, you go for that flavor of the month or the kid with the attitude, those guys, they fizzle. Recruiting's about and being successful at this level is about, perseverance and sticking with the program and with the team for 4 or 5 years. And that's tough. In today's society, some of these kids are, they want instant gratification. They go from being the big time player in high school and they can't handle being redshirted or not being the star. And so, you kind of try to dig a little deeper into their character and what really makes them up and recruit those type of kids that will stick it out and put the team first.
One guy that has stuck it out, and I'm sure you're happy he's stuck it out, is your outstanding running back, Richard Cooper. I remember watching him at Angleton and what a superstar he was then, and now he's the Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Year. You mentioned he's an All-American. This guy does it all. As the guy who gets to see him every day and see him practice, what stands out to you about Richard Cooper?
He's not a big rah-rah guy or anything like that. He just, he shows up every day with his lunch pail in hand and goes to work and is a great teammate. And he played as a true freshman. He was part of that inaugural class here in 13. We got the job. We had 8 days to sign a signing class. We signed, I think, 36 guys in 8 days, and he was one of them, along with, I think we've got 7 other true seniors this year that are some of the best players in this league. So, Richard's a guy that just shows up and goes to work, and now he's getting looked at. We've had, I think, 26 teams in the NFL come through here to, he's one of them guys they're looking at, and hopefully he gets a chance to play on. But he's done a great job taking care of his business in the classroom and getting his degree and everything else. So I wish I had 140 more just like him.
Yeah, that would certainly be nice because, boy, you guys are riding him. He set the career high 224 yards in your game against A&M Kingsville. He ran for nearly 12 yards a carry. You've got a lot of weapons, and I want to talk about your quarterback Luis Perez in a moment. But it seems to me that one of the challenges you face is just finding a way to keep all these guys involved because you're like a kid in a candy store.
Right. No, it is, and that's where the standard's been set, and it has been set for 4 years now, and the guys know it. And you talk about our quarterback play. Our quarterbacks never win all conference because they don't have the great stats because our backup quarterback always runs our truck package, and we were running the truck package before they made it famous, I guess, down there at Texas this year. But, so our backup quarterback always has a lot of rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns, which takes away from Richard's stats and Luis's stats. But, it's a team first mentality. And going into that Kingsville game, I think Richard was averaging 54 yards a game. Preseason player of the year, he's only averaging 50 yards a game, and he's not upset. He's happy because we're winning and we're being productive, and we're doing it through the air. Well, that game, Kingsville gave us the run, and we took advantage of it, and so he ends up with 200-plus yards, and our receivers are happy to block and do their job as long as the production stays the same and the standards met in terms of getting that W.
And you guys are a roster just filled with Texans. You guys have done a great job recruiting the state of Texas, and I know that when talking to high school coaches around the state, we hear A&M Commerce mentioned a lot. One guy, though, you mentioned that isn't a Texan is your quarterback, Luis Perez, a San Diegan out of California. But it seems like he's really matured and a guy who's really taking care of the football right now, completing 70% of his passes. For you, when you go to him, I can't imagine that you're telling him anything but let's take care of the football.
You bet. He's just the mailman, just deliver the package and let the skilled guys do the work with it. But he is a really good leader and everything else. One of the transfers we do have, when we recruit high school, it's 100% state of Texas. We did 13 satellite camps that were just ours, all over the state. Went to Houston, San Antonio, Austin, DFW. We had over 1,500 kids in camp this summer, and that's our lifeblood. And we're going to recruit, all over the state. Our kickers from Edinburgh. I mean, there's no stone left unturned in this state. But transfer-wise, we'll take 8 to 10 transfers each year, and we'll go all around the globe to get those guys. Our starting left guard's from England, and so we've got guys from Samoa and Hawaii and all over the place. So, but through and through, it's going to be Texas high school kids that come from great programs and very well coached, and that's what we want this the lifeblood of a Lion football program to be about.
Now, you notice that we're already about 10 minutes into the interview. We haven't mentioned your defense once. Do you think you've got this big time offense that grabs all the headlines, that's scoring at a ridiculous rate? You've got all these playmakers. Do you get the feeling like the defense kind of has a chip on their shoulder and be like, hey, we're pretty good as well, because your defense has been rather solid this year so far as well?
That's just the life of a DC. I was a DC before I was a head coach, and you don't get into coaching defense for the credit anymore. In today's college football game, it's all about points and offense, and you can throw stats out the window. But we rank our defense based on turnovers and third down stops and red zone efficiency, and Coach Deason does a tremendous job. Has had, even stat-wise, one of the best defenses in the conference all 3 years here, and they're doing a tremendous job again this year. And we got a lot of young guys. We don't have a lot of big stat guys on defense because we will play, 35 to 40 kids at home when in critical situations. We're going to play those kids we recruit and get them some experience when they're young, and that keeps our guys healthier and fresher because you're playing so many snaps in today's game. You can't just leave the same 11 guys out there. You're going to get ran through and beat up and hurt. And so they do a great job mixing it up and have been very, very successful on that side of the ball.
And you guys are forcing turnovers, and I imagine that's got to be a key going up against a squad like Midwestern State, another team that's off to a fantastic start, number 7 in the nation. That's a reason you guys are going to be featured on ESPN this week as the Division II game of the week. Not going to ask you to give away your game plan because I know they're probably watching. But when you look at Midwestern State and you look at your matchup coming up this Saturday, what do you think are your keys to coming out with a win?
I think you probably hit on it, is just taking care of the football. And that's, when we played them last year, one time we weren't successful. We had them down in we turned the ball over 3 times in the last 6 minutes of the game and gave them the win. Or they got the win. And we've got to take care of the football. And at that point in time, we were number 1 in the nation in turnover margin. We were number 1 in the nation a week ago. And second half this past Saturday, we turned the ball over 4 times. That's completely unacceptable. So I think in a game like this, we're 2 evenly matched teams. I've coached against Bill Maskell for 15 years now, and there's no secrets what they're doing and what we're doing. It's just 2 really good football teams, and it's going to be the team that goes out there and makes the fewest mistakes and takes care of the football. That team's going to end up with a W on Saturday. So it'll be a classic matchup and fun to watch, fun to tune into, and 2 really good programs, 2 really good coaching staffs, and a lot of Texas high school football players out there on that field.
You say it's going to be fun. Do you get nervous on game day? Is that something that maybe you get a little bit tight on game day? Game
day's, to me, the most fun day there is. I think our staff feels that way. We have a lot of fun on this staff, and it's pretty loose around here, and we work hard during the week and year round. That way, game day is payday. That's your work gets to go out there and take care of business. And when you do things right 364 days a year, that one game day, that's a fun day to go out there and see the fruits of the labor pay off. And so we really enjoy game day around here, and it's a pretty loose, fun environment.
Yeah, because I was going to say I'm going to have fun watching it, but I'm not also out there, trying to win a ball game. When I watch ESPN3 on Saturday against Midwestern State, I'm going to enjoy it. But I want to make sure you are too. We're talking with Colby Carthel, the head coach of the A&M Commerce Lions, here on DCTF Live in conjunction with Atavis Rugby Tackling. Get involved in the conversation. #DCTF Live. Coach, one more question before we let you go.
Very important.
I know you are on Twitter at Coach Carthel.
Yep.
Right.
Carthel. Max Thompson, our producer, asked me before to ask you about your background photo on your Twitter page. It appears to be some sort of body of water next to a mountain, and
glorious.
Max is a big outdoorsman.
Where are we going?
Where is that?
Where is this?
That's smack dab in the middle of the Kenai River up in Alaska.
Oh, I love Alaska.
Yeah, I do too. I go up there, work a football camp every summer, and my wife and I always do a lot of salmon and halibut fishing, but that's floating down a raft in the middle of the Kenai River, jerking some lip on some of those red salmon.
There we go.
You poor thing. You poor thing.
I'll be in the boat next to him next year.
All right, there you go. Next year he was. He is Coach Colby Carthel. He is the head coach of the 5-0 Texas A&M Commerce Lions, and they are taking on Midwestern State this Saturday on ESPN3. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be one heck of a barn burner. Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations on your hot start, and good luck Saturday.
I appreciate it, Greg. Max, thanks for having us on.
There he goes. Colby Carthel, head coach, the A&M Commerce Lions. Look, man, you don't think that – listen, there are a couple recruits who are just watching that, I guarantee you. And like we asked, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, I want to hear about Richard Cooper and okay, their defense and their philosophy and stuff like that. But when he mentioned that about the fishing, they perked up. They go, okay, all right. Well, Commerce.
Summer vacation with Coach sounds all right.
I think I've got a lot in common with this Colby Carthel guy. But they are off to a great start. I want to make sure I get the time right. When is this game going to be? Midwestern State. A&M Commerce, because I'm going to lock in. That game will be on 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. ESPN 3.
It's kind of nice. All of our big games are getting out of the way in the morning.
In Commerce, number 7 Midwestern State, number 4 A&M Commerce. The biggest Division II game in Texas probably all year. Until we get to the playoffs.
Right.
Probably all year. These two teams are going to get after it.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a great game. If you're a football junkie, you're going to love this game. These kids are going to get after it.
Like I said.
And Richard Cooper, superstar at Angleton. No surprise he's a superstar out there at Commerce as well.
It'll be good. And like I said, the schedule works out. If you're a college football fan, we're kind of early first half of the day heavy.
You know what? If you're a football fan, the late night slate, it's Marshall, North Texas, Tech, and Kansas State.
This is the one you go with.
Florida International, UTEP. I think it's Commerce and Midwestern State. That's my opinion, but take that with a grain of salt.
That'll be a better game.
I also am just a football nerd. So thanks to Coach Colby Carthel of the A&M Commerce Lions for joining us.